What is up, y'all? I don't even want to say happy weekend because is it? I don't know. I do hope that your day is going okay, though. That hasn't changed. I hope that your day gets better if it is not going well. What a week, huh? The inauguration was on Monday, and it feels like it's been a lot longer than a week, but here we are. I just want to say, for what it's worth, maybe nothing, but for what it's worth, I do hear you. I hear y'all. All we can do is rally together, do what we can. I'm sure y'all are just as concerned and disheartened and discouraged and worried and scared and all of the other emotions just like I am. I'm disappointed that the people that should love me unconditionally and love my daughter unconditionally voted against our well-being and against our autonomy, against our rights. I'm disappointed that the people that should love me unconditionally turn out to actually support an actual literal fascist by every definition. It's a lot, right? I think a lot of us kind of went through some of these same emotions after the election, but maybe we were a little bit holding out hope that maybe it wouldn't be quite as bad as he promised. Maybe he wouldn't do everything that he promised he would do. And so now that it's the inauguration and we're seeing all of these executive orders that he's signing on literally day one, signing more executive orders than any other president on their first day. It's scary, right? It is absolutely concerning. And I read a lot, right? Like I'm sure we all have, I've read about this exact type of dystopia and how it started. And let's look back at our history books from not that long ago. Cough, cough, 1939. Like, this is not new. I will say I feel a little bit bamboozled because they said that the leader would be charming, and I don't really see that, but I guess some people are charmed by him. I don't know. Honestly, this whole thing, I haven't even been reading. I know y'all don't care about this, but I haven't even been reading this past week and a half because this whole thing has actually put me into such a reading slump because it's not just an escape from reality anymore to read a book because books are political. We know this. I like that about books. I think that's a good thing that books are political. It reflects our society. It reflects our reality. And I can always find parallels no matter the genre. Fantasy, whatever. You can always find parallels in dystopian societies, fantasy, all that stuff. Almost every book I read, there are some aspects somewhere that we can relate to our current lives, or maybe hey, this is what would happen if we did go down this other path, so on and so forth. And normally that's good. But right now, it's just been feeling like too much for me. And I think the only book genre that would be safe to read would be the comfy romance, which I don't read anyway. Those would probably be the only safe ones that are an actual break from reality. So yeah, this whole week kind of broke my reading spirit, if you will. But yeah, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed with everything, you're not alone. And also, maybe, I'm sure this is just me projecting how I'm feeling, but maybe you feel the same, maybe you don't. Come along on the ride if you don't feel the same. I was still am feeling pretty angry too, a lot of anger, right? A lot of anger. And I guess, again, for what it's worth, coming from me, I think it's okay to feel angry too. I actually saw a post right after the election, so back in November, and I'd saved it in my Instagram posts. Honestly, I'm not even positive that it was actually generally related to the election. I think I just really related to it, and here's what it said. Quote, "It's okay to feel angry, to be a kind person and feel angry, to love the people in your life and feel outraged by them sometimes. To be so grateful for the life you've had and so frustrated for the things that were missed. To be alive and well today and infuriated that you've had to fight so hard to get here. To be there for everyone else and to feel angry that no one was ever there for you. You know, it's okay to let your anger rise and have something to say, have something to feel, have something to move. You know, it's okay to let your anger out instead of turning it inward like a lethal boomerang. Anger doesn't make you feel bad or wrong, and your emotional experience doesn't define the quality of human being you are. And you are human after all. Anger is human. It's okay to be human, unquote. Now, yes, I do think a large part of the mass media news right now is designed kind of in a way of like rage bait, like a reverse love bombing. Like it's designed to invoke large, powerful emotions to get you riled up and either interacting with the content, i.e., generate more revenue for the content creators, or equally likely to distract the general public from the executive orders they're already signing and pushing into effect and the other more important things going on in the world. Like, yeah, it's an excellent distraction and diversion technique to flood our social media platforms with, oh, did you follow POTUS or did Meta follow it for you? And oh, what happens when you remove the follow? All those little shenanigans get us distracted on that. Yeah, don't ask about the ceasefire. Don't ask about the executive orders. Don't ask about anything else, right? And, focus on who's following who on Instagram. And so with all of that being said, all of these emotions swirling around, part of me is like, don't give them any more emotional energy. Don't get all worked up because that's just what they want. But also part of me is like, no, anger is normal. Anger is healthy to a certain extent if it's, directed in a healthy way. And also I think anger really shows that you have a conscience. If you're angry about fascist moves in the government, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to be angry about. There are worse things to be angry about, right? Anger shows that you have a conscience because anger drives action, anger drives change, and ambivalence is what leads to the downfall of societies. Indifference is what truly kills the human spirit, and indifference is what can do irreparable damage to communities and cultures. So for me, yeah, this past week I got angry. And I took a bit of a social media break from doom scrolling and seeing post after post after post after post of, was this a Nazi salute? Was this just autistic stimming? What about the ceasefire and the Gulf of America and banned pride flags at federal buildings and ICE raids in schools and the removal of the Tuskegee Airmen in the Air Force training curriculum? And it only took Hitler 53 days after taking office, and 80 other concerning things happening right now. I needed the break, but also I took a few days to kind of try my best to reset. I kind of pulled out of social media for a bit. I really tried to get out of my own head, just kind of calm things down a bit because I was very heated. I was very, very tilted this past week, and I felt myself going down this rabbit hole and trying to explain away, why everything was so bad and how this was so negative and all of the impacts. And I realized okay, yeah, that is not necessarily helping anything. There are other things that we can do individually that can help change. And so I did change some things in my life too, to try to just be a little droplet of change, just to do my part. And I think right now that's all we can do. We have to just keep fighting, do what we can to help in whatever way we can, and we'll get through it, right? Because we have to get through it. We have to survive. For starters, I did cancel my Amazon Prime membership. I know this sounds dramatic, but I'm done with Amazon, dude. I'm done with it. I'm done with Goodreads because it's owned by Amazon. Also, Storygraph is way better. I like the stats better. I mean, Jeff Bezos, he's on the track to become, I saw an article the other day, like one of the first trillionaires within the next, I think it was 5 years, 3 years, something like that. And he was celebrating a little too hard at Trump's inauguration. He looked a little too happy that Trump is now president, I should say. And so, yeah, I was like, you know what? They're in each other's pockets. It's just shady. So yeah, I'm done with Amazon. I'm also done with Walmart. The first 100 days of a presidency is a huge benchmark for measuring effectiveness and whatever else with the economy. So this is absolutely me just being petty, but I don't care. I don't want to contribute to Trump's economy where he gets credit for it. So yeah, done with Walmart. I'm done with the large corporations. We shouldn't be having billionaires and trillionaires. When people are literally dying on the street and starving and kids are not going to school and, people don't know when their next meal is going to be and we have housing crises, all of these other issues, we're running out of water. We don't the earth has no business having trillionaires. We say, oh, will they use that wealth for good? Do they though? No, they don't. Statistically, no, they don't. You can do a lot of good as a millionaire, even as a billionaire. I mean, I think billionaire is really where we should cut the limit. But trillionaire, come on. There are stats out there. Y'all can Google them and look them up. But like, you can't spend enough money to spend all of trillions of dollars in your lifetime. Like, it just doesn't, currency doesn't work like that. The economy doesn't work like that. Like, there's no business for people to be trillionaires. That's just, it's excessive, right? So why would I, if that's what I believe and that's where my values are, why am I lining their pockets? Because it's easier for me. Why? You know? So yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with the large corporations. I'm shopping local whenever possible. And honestly, there's some good stuff out there too. You just have to look. Like, I went to a local coffee shop downtown the other day, and they have the cutest little kitchen set up, and they have book club meetings and paint nights and all these little events to help bolster the community, and they're doggy friendly. And I had Mina with me, and they were like, heck yeah, let her run around, free range chicken, let her touch everything. We love that. They were super kid friendly. The vibes were just on point. I talked to the manager for literally, he was just chatting with me for like 35 minutes about the local potato festivals and apple cider donut festivals and all the fairs and the farmers markets and how the city was redoing their sidewalks, and they're just really trying to make the town a community, and how they partner with the library across the street for the book clubs. And it was just super nice. Like, you're never going to get that vibe at a Starbucks. You know, like, yeah, shop local. I do think that there are a lot of benefits to that. And also, if it's people that you know, I think, yes, absolutely, you should support them with their dreams and what they're trying to do. There's actually an app and a website that I started using as well called Goods Unite Us. You can look up any brand or store and it'll tell you their political contributions, because where your money goes does make an impact. Like I said, there's the first 100 days in the presidency that's really heavily looked at, but also just in general, or throughout the 4 years of a presidency. The average consumer funds politicians and PACs about 3 times more through their purchasing decisions as compared to their direct political contributions. So their whole slogan with Goods Unite Us, their whole slogan thing is vote with your wallet and invest with your values. And so each brand will have a scale of their donation distribution and a bunch of information. So for example, Walmart, if you look at that one, their donation distribution is actually split pretty evenly, 49% Democrat and 51% Republican. But the kicker is their campaign finance reform number is -51, which means their combined contribution level is very high. And so the campaign finance reform number, that ranges from -100 to +100. The higher the score, the more likely that purchases from there will lead to meaningful reform. A negative score indicates that purchasing from that store will help keep corporate money in politics. So, I mean, obviously, to make like a very clear-cut example here, right? I could donate $100 to Biden or Trump, but I feel like most average citizens aren't doing that. I know I never have, because I don't know that I would ever actually trust a phone call or whoever to actually get to that candidate. Like, I feel like it would just always sound too scammy for me to ever actually believe. But most people don't do that, right? However, you shop at Walmart, for example, you spend $300, $500, $1,000, over how many purchases. And a large percentage of that money that they're getting is going to go right to whichever candidate they support. And so you're seeing thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands to a certain political party. And maybe you agree with that party, maybe you don't. And so I think that's why having this transparency is very, very critical. Because if you don't support that candidate, yeah, you don't want your money going to them. Also, with Walmart, they just rescinded all of their DEI initiatives, so that's also why I'm kind of boycotting them. I'm really going to try to shop only local like local grocers only, local coffee shops, local bookstores. Honestly, I never really go shopping like for fun, just to buy myself new clothes. I don't really do that, but I guess if I do, I'll check out the little boutiques and things like that. If you have a baby or a toddler in your life, please, please, please go check out Lyca and Bear, Lyca. She has a storefront on Etsy. She's got an Instagram. I've tagged her in a lot of stuff if you want to go through my page to find her, but she has the best little baby and toddler things. So the little, welcome to the world sign for newborns, the little newborn hats, and the little bow headbands, booties, blankets. Her blankets are super nice. Bunch of different types of clothes, little romper jumper things, little sweaters, all that stuff, little cute little t-shirt short sets. She's the best, and we have a ton of her clothes. They're super good quality. They're also so adorable. And like they last too. Like when you're buying baby clothes on Amazon and Walmart, I feel like they get stretched out really quickly. They're just like, they get kind of like, they're thin. They're just not nice. And her stuff is really good quality, and it's stood up for, at least 15, 16 months now. Yeah, she's the best. And yeah, definitely check her out. And if you guys have any local, like friends that anyone that's like a local seller, that they have their little niche market, that they do whatever, I don't know, send them my way. I'll check them out. I'll give them a little shout out for what it's worth. Cause yeah, I'm like 100% local now, honestly. I just feel like that's what I can do right now in my life and continue this podcast, because not to be dramatic and conspiratorial, but who knows how long the history books will reflect the true history, right? So I'm kind of like, yeah, let me document some of this stuff. Like, let me get my thoughts out there as long as I'm allowed to get my thoughts out there still, before I'm just permanently silenced because I'm a female and not in the majority thought process. But I digress. Let's talk about some more stores, right? So I will say Costco still in the clear because they're the OG, and I love this about Costco. Their stakeholders basically told them like, hey, y'all have to roll back all your DEI initiatives. 98% of the voters and like the big people in, fancy suits that make the decisions, 98% of them were like, hell no, there's the door. We'll keep doing what we're doing. And I love that. And so I actually started doing some research on which companies do I agree with? So, which one should I give my money to? Which one should I not? For stuff that like, if I can't find it locally. So I did a bunch of research for you guys, see which ones are still supporting DEI and LGBTQ policies, since Trump literally, I'm not kidding, look it up, he banned DEI in the federal government on the first day in office. That is official. That's not just like oh yeah, I think so. No, that he signed the executive order. They're treating DEI like a swear word now. It's lovely. But he also, so that's just in the federal government, but he did also threaten to punish some private entities, which includes public companies, nonprofits, universities. He did kind of threaten to punish them if they still use it. So it's this weird, we'll see how long they last. That's why I'm so proud of Costco for sticking to their guns. But Forbes put out an article, and they put out a list of the top companies rolling back on diversity plans. This was published 24 January 2025, just a couple days ago. Target, I know this one breaks my heart. I'm sorry, guys, to deliver the bad news. Target is the latest to bail out. They curbed their Pride merchandise in response to conservative backlash. They ended their racial equity action and change program, ceased participation in external diversity surveys. Target pulled out on January 24th. The FBI confirmed it had closed its DEI office in December. January 10th, Amazon said it would roll back what it called, quote, outdated programs and materials in an internal memo, citing employee programs that were established to address a, quote, specific disparity, though it did not specify what would be discontinued, because Amazon does operate employee-led resource groups for Black, LGBTQ, women, Indigenous staffers, and more. On the same day, January 10th, Meta said the company ended several programs intended to increase its hiring of diverse candidates, including its equity and inclusion training programs, after Janelle Gale, Meta's VP of People, said the, quote, legal and policy landscape surrounding DEI efforts in the U.S. is changing, unquote. So, here's my thing. Get a backbone. Like, you either support everyone or you don't. And I know this isn't a surprise for a lot of y'all, because I know a lot of companies do capitalize on Pride merchandise in the month of June, and they just commercialize it. They put a rainbow on anything, pull in all that money, and then for the other 11 months out of the year, they, are not supportive. And that's trash, right? Bad juju on them. They're not decent human beings. But it's unfortunate to see that, right? And I feel like over the last 5 to 10 years, I feel like we did make a lot of progress in this aspect. And it was starting to become more normalized that, hey, diversity is a strength. Hey, having differences in opinions and viewpoints and perspectives is a strength. Any company should know that, like, you diversify your training, your everything. You diversify it, you're going to have strength in those numbers. And so now it's just unfortunate to see a little bit of whiplash from this very conservative leaning public support, and then they all drop it immediately. That's just unfortunate to see, right? This is Meta, right? So I'm probably going to cut out Facebook too. I'm not going to lie. This one's a little bit harder for me to just quit cold turkey, because I have a lot of family on there, and that's kind of the only way that they see pictures of my daughter. That's kind of the only way that we communicate with them, and they can just kind of stay involved in our lives, because we are military. We're all over the place. We're all in different time zones. We're all in different work schedules. And so you can't just do a phone call. But I do still think I'm probably gonna quit just scrolling on there. You know what I mean? Like, really only use it if I have to. Same thing with Instagram. We'll see. We'll see with that. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, Mark Zuckerberg he's the backbone of Facebook. Zuckerberg's in cahoots with Meta, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Like, they're all dirty little dogs, So yeah, I'm kind of over Facebook too. Continuing on, January 6th, McDonald's announced it would abandon specific diversity targets, cease participation in external surveys that measure company demographics, and would rename its diversity team to, quote, Global Inclusion Team, unquote, citing the Supreme Court decision that ended affirmative action at universities and similar DEI walkbacks by other corporations, though it did say it would continue to report demographic information in its own annual report. So that one sounds like they're maybe going to still do some of the same processes, but just under a different name, which, if that's what they have to do, I guess that's better than nothing. But it just sucks that they can't just, have a backbone like Costco and say, no, we're not doing this. November 25th, 2024, Walmart said it would abandon its DEI commitments, including winding down a Center for Racial Equity nonprofit it had founded in 2020 with $100 million 5-year commitment, ceasing third-party sellers from offering certain LGBTQ-themed products on its website, no longer participating in the Human Rights Campaign's external surveys, and phasing out the term diversity, equity, and inclusion in company documents. 1 November 2024, Boeing dismantled its Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department and redirected its staff to its Human Resources Department to focus on talent acquisition and employee experience. August 28, 24, Lowe's said in an internal memo it would combine its employee resource groups into one umbrella organization, cease participating in HRC surveys, and would stop participating in external events like Pride parades. Same day, August 28th, 2024, Ford informed employees it would stop participating in external diversity surveys and would evolve its employee resource groups to focus on networking and mentorship for all employees, citing the evolving, quote, external and legal environment related to political and social issues, unquote. August 22nd, 2024, Jack Daniels manufacturer told employees it would no longer tie executive compensation to DEI progress, remove workforce and supplier diversity goals, and cease participating in the HRC index, citing the shifting, quote, legal and external landscape, unquote. So we're kind of seeing that trend there, right? August 19th, 2024, Harley-Davidson said it abandoned its DEI function in April and said it does not utilize diversity quotas for hiring or suppliers and that it would no longer participate in HRC surveys or partner with sponsors that do not focus on its, quote, loyal riding community, unquote. July 16th, 2024, farm equipment manufacturer John Deere, I always hated John Deere though, it said it would no longer support, quote, cultural awareness events like pride parades and would audit company documents to remove, quote, socially motivated messages, unquote, adding that diversity quotas and pronoun identification have never been company policy, though it said it would continue to internally track employee diversity. So that's a lot of, if you feel that way, right? And if you feel strongly enough to sort of boycott those companies, there's a whole bunch of companies for you to get rid of based on their actions. A few companies that are maintaining their DEI efforts, though, a little bit of positive news here, besides Costco. We actually have Apple, Delta, and Cisco. So that's good news, I guess, in the sea of concerning news. I think all we can do is just rally and do what we can, stay positive, keep our head on a swivel, and whether that's shifting away from big corporations funding Trump, so, maybe we avoid Tesla, Meta, Amazon, or you can, if you feel really strongly, you can join activist groups, or if you're an artist in some form or fashion, keep producing that artwork, keep writing, keep putting your content out there. If you're a seller, keep chugging along, right? Shop local, research everything. I can't stress that enough. Fact check everything you see online because people be lying out there. Especially with all the political stuff, I'm like, this is propaganda. And there's so much misinformation. There's so much disinformation. And so, just try your best to research everything. I guess just try to stay positive as best you can. Advocate for the people that are losing their ability to advocate for themselves. I don't know. Just do what you can, I guess. Buy, if you're a reader, or just in general, if you support books and you support libraries, maybe start buying physical copies of banned books and some of these books that are probably about to be banned. Because, is it maybe dramatic? Sure. Will it maybe never happen? I hope not. But if we do start going down the 1984 and the Fahrenheit 451 route, which doesn't seem super far off, it doesn't hurt to have some of these books in hand. Because we've seen how these book bannings are going and how these book challenges are going, and it's not going in our favor. And Trump has said he's going to ban much more. And quite frankly, I'll give the guy this. He does stick to his promises so far. He is delivering on everything he said he would do. And so, it might not hurt to have some of those banned books on your shelf. So that way someone has a copy of them when, all the publishing firms start burning them or whatever they're going to do. So, that's just my thought. But what do I know, right? What do I know? I hope I'm completely wrong about this. I hope that the next 4 years, nothing important changes permanently. I hope everything works out. I hope people have enough food to eat. I hope people have roofs over their heads. I hope they have beds to sleep in. I hope they have clean water to drink. And the sad thing is I say that and people know exactly who I voted for. And to me, those are human rights, right? Food, water, and shelter I feel like should be basic human rights. But the fact that I say that and that tells you who I voted for is a little sad to me. That's a little concerning. So if you need anything, please reach out. And really take me up on that. If you know anyone, even if it's like hey, my sister's roommate from 14 years ago, I think sells stickers on Etsy. Send it my way, right? Like, send all of the people that you know to me, any local shops, any local vendors, anything. Send them my way, please. Because I want to do what I can. I want to support where I can. I want to shop local. And even if it's just the little bit of, adding a little bit of foot traffic on their website or whatever the case may be, I want to support in any way that I can. So just let me know. And then also I can share it with other people. All right, y'all. Let me wrap it up there. Make good choices. Be a decent human being. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Keep your head on a swivel. And shop local. And I will talk to y'all soon. Okay, bye.